What is going on, guys? Welcome to a new episode of Subhuman Rants. So in today's video, I want to talk about something. I want to get away from the Star Wars. I've kind of feel like I've been talking about Star Wars for way too long. So we're going to take a break from Star Wars and we're going to go back to the MCU. So this video, I want to talk about the introduction of the X-Men into the MCU. Again, this is just what I'm looking for, kind of my theories. This isn't anything set in stone. And unfortunately, I wanted to do this video before. I didn't really get the chance to do that. Now we have WandaVision that's come out, and this is going to be kind of a spoiler, but there are some introductions that are starting to pop up there. Quote unquote, some introductions, but not so much. So this isn't going to be about WandaVision. This is going to be about the X-Men. So, the first thing, again, I said I wasn't going to be about WandaVision, but the first thing I want to talk about is Quicksilver. So, having just caught up on almost every single X-Men movie that's come out, with the exception, I believe it's just one, the most recent Wolverine movie, the Logan movie, and that is it's Quicksilver. So, Quicksilver is a character that I believe was very, very strong in these newer X-Men movies, and I believe he's very well loved by the fans. There's going to be a conflict, which again we've already kind of started seeing, with Quicksilver in the X-Men versus Quicksilver from the MCU. So there's a difference in it, and I know I've said it before, but I don't want to talk about WandaVision. But there are some parallels that get brought in. But we can't bring this character into the MCU the way that he is. Wow, that's my cat snoring. We can't bring this character the way that he is in the X-Men into the MCU without some sort of backtracking and some sort of changing. And it's because the whole point of Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch is that, according to the comic books, from what I've read, they are supposed to be children of Magneto. That gets kind of brought up in the X-Men movie. I'm blanking which one it was, but you kind of learn that Quicksilver is Magneto's son, which poses a difference because we've learned in the MCU that Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver are actually from Sokovia, and they ended up becoming kind of like part of this like radical terrorist type of group. Their parents were killed in a bombing and everything like that. They're completely different backstories for these characters, so they're completely different characters at this point. But how could they bring Quicksilver into it and have Wanda instead of a different variant of the Scarlet Witch? I think that with the multiverse stuff that's supposed to be going on with Spider-Man, with Doctor Strange, and with WandaVision, I think that would be something they could definitely pull off. I don't know how they're going to do it with Quicksilver. I had an idea, but since this show's come out, it's kind of been a conflict. So, but going forward, with the rest of the X-Men, it's going to be a challenge because the X-Men, they have this big history. They supposedly have saved the world all these times, all these movies, every single movie they're doing something big. To bring them into the MCU, how is it that none of these Avengers have heard of Charles Xavier or any of these other mutants? How is it that this is going around at the same time, but there's no correlation? No one's bumping into each other. So I think that the only way to properly do it is to introduce Magneto, or introduce it as a multiverse type of thing, to where there's a universe out there where there's the X-Men, but not the Avengers. And there's a different universe where there's the Avengers and not the X-Men. And I think that what it should be, again, I haven't read all the comic books. What I think it should be is that the next big bad guy should be the one that's interfering with the multiverse. and the one that's kind of tinkering around with it. And they're the ones that are introducing all these people together, not really on purpose. I don't think that they want to have this big team up of Avengers and X-Men. But I think throughout the next few movies or the next phase or whatever, it should be this thing to where the Avengers are now bumping into these people that are just popping up, and they're just maybe end credit scenes or something like that, to where, now you have Wolverine just show up out of nowhere. He doesn't know what's going on. He's from a completely different universe. The same thing with Xavier and all these other mutants, is that they just they're getting pulled out of their own universe and into this one. And I think that that would be the best way to kind of go about it. And I think that if there's a big Avengers team up with the X-Men, what it should be is that some of the X-Men should stay behind when they've resolved it and they've defeated this big bad guy. The X-Men should definitely stay behind, some of them, because they realize that the Avengers are kind of depleted after the stuff that happened in Endgame and Infinity War. They're definitely not up to full strength. They're kind of scattered all over the place. Thor's off doing whatever. Captain America and Iron Man are gone. It's just there's a way that you have to go about it. I'm not saying that this has to be what's going to happen, or that this is what's going to happen. I'm just saying that this is something that I think would be cool to happen. And in that case, you would be able to have this introduction of the X-Men into the MCU. Some of them are going to stay, some of them would leave. But that way you could kind of carry over some of these actors. And I'm not saying all of them, because I know that some people really don't like some of the X-Men actors, but you could bring in some of these actors and they can keep them in the MCU, and then the ones that they don't want, you can take them out. And then maybe we could find their counterparts into the actual MCU, the actual universe that this is going on. Maybe they're underground or something like that, and they're not as open with their mutant status as the ones in the other universe. Maybe it would be brought in like that, or they'll just completely reinvent these characters like they kind of did with Wanda and Quicksilver. So you never know. Again, this is just my theory, but this is something that we are going to be seeing very quickly. We have to see it, because I don't think that they're going to wait another phase to introduce these X-Men characters. They've got the rights to them now. I don't think that they're going to wait that long. Is it going to be as early as the Black Widow movie? I doubt it. I don't think that they're going to be in the Black Widow movie. But I think definitely with Spider-Man, Doctor Strange 2, and maybe even some more with WandaVision, you're going to start seeing more of these MCU cameos popping up. And I don't even know anything too much about the Eternals. I haven't really looked into them too much. But maybe even something with that. I don't know. But what do you think? If you have your own theories on how the X-Men are going to get introduced, definitely leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you want to see. I definitely can't change it or anything, but definitely let me know what your thoughts on this are. And if you like this video, definitely give it a thumbs up, and definitely subscribe. So, but that's all I got for you guys today. So have a good one.